Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good morning, Uma.
Welcome to the CNSS Podcast. It's such a pleasure and an honor to have you here with us.
It's a pleasure. I wish we could have been present there myself, but I find the distance is too alarming at the time.
Yes, I know. So, for our viewers' benefit, I'd like to say that today on the CNSS podcast, we have Mr. Vikram Sood with us. And Mr. Sood and I will be discussing about the current geopolitical state of affairs, given what has happened in Bangladesh. I know there have been a lot of podcasts. Mr. Sood himself has, done a couple of podcasts on Bangladesh, but it's always refreshing to hear what he has to say. And there are changes that are happening on a daily basis. So, sir, I'm going to start my, with my first question, which is, Bangladesh's ongoing political crisis, whatever is happening now, is considered high risk by observers, not only for Bangladesh's own economy, but also to India and the entire neighborhood. And I know you've been talking about this, for some time now. I'd like to understand your views on this, sir.
Let me start by saying that this crisis in Bangladesh is not a crisis only for Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm.
It is a geopolitical issue. It involves the big powers. It involves Chinese interests, American interests, our interests, Bangladesh's own interests. So, my question to myself has been that there is so much chaos in the world, military chaos. You can start from obviously Ukraine, Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah tie-up, all sorts of activities happening on the African continent, which we Indians don't really get to know or probably are not even bothered about it. So it's no news in the on the Indian pages. And of course, there is the Houthi crisis in Yemen.
Right.
Iran is probably the center of trouble with Israel and the Hamas and Hezbollah, Iran itself, and the Houthis. So there is a lot of activity where the United States would be concerned and active. So why is it that it has shown extraordinary interest in what's happening in Bangladesh or was made to happen in Bangladesh? Is it for Bangladesh? Is it for the United States? It's certainly not for the Chinese. It's certainly for us. So we have to evaluate why now. Remember when Sheikh Mujib took over in 1971, Americans recognized or accepted Sheikh's presidentship in April 72. They spent 4 months delaying it.
Absolutely, sir.
Here on the 5th of August, the army chief tells Sheikh Hasina to go. Okay? He has an aircraft ready for her.
Yes.
The aircraft takes over, and then we hear the announcement that they've got an interim government which would be headed by what's his name? I forget. By the Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
Flew in from Paris.
Yeah.
Now, this is all very neatly tied. And the next morning, we had news or comments from Washington that they accept this is a good change and they look forward to interacting, etc., etc.
Yes.
Obviously, there is an interest in this. And for us, I don't think we have immediate answers.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to wait and see. And I don't think at all we should be hurrying into doing something. Let there be some kind of stabilization, low or high, anti-Indian or pro-Indian. I don't expect the latter, but I do think it will be anti to a large extent. It also depends on how much they evaluate their economic dependence or interaction with India.
Yes.
If they can just remember that we are the only countries that has boundaries with them, with Bangladesh.
Yeah.
No, the other two are offshore.
Right.
So we are the ones who interact with them. We are the ones who give them bijli. And we give them trade.
Yes.
Okay? Now, are they going to, is there a substitute for that? We don't have to rub it in, but, these are the harsh realities on the ground.
Absolutely. And
Why? And then the other question is, why is the United States so interested? Bangladesh is no threat to them.
Right.
It is in a remote, in the American sense, a remote corner of northern Bay of Bengal.
Correct.
There's no military threat, there's no terrorism threat to them from there. So what is it that they're aiming? Is it aimed at somebody else? Is it a preemptive strike to prevent the Chinese from moving in? Although there's not much joy in the Chinese-Bangladesh relationship in the past few weeks, months, and she went back and came back in a bit of a huff and didn't get what she wanted. She wanted the $5 billion grant, but she got only $147 million. So there is I think the Chinese are probably aware or have probably sensed that all's not well in the government.
Right.
All's not well, and they want to rather wait and see what happens. And also remember, we might think that they would favor the BNP, but they have been dealing with the Awami League for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So there must have been some comfort level with them.
Absolutely, sir.
Like we had. So it's a change that sort of affects us more immediately. The Chinese, it does not affect the United States in that sense at all. So what are they looking for?
Very true. Very true.
In 2022, Rand Corporation, they brought out a paper about where would the Chinese want to have their ports. They did a matrix calculation survey discussion, and this pointed out that 4 countries in Asia would be high priority for them, and the ideally suited, most desirable countries where they could have a base. Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and Cambodia. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting, isn't it? But then the other 3 have problems. Bangladesh is the best bet.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Now, it's a coincidence, perhaps, that only the other day, last week, perhaps, there was an article which was published by the USNI, Naval Academy, by 2 Bangladeshis, professors, who say the best thing that could happen is an American base in Bangladesh.
Whoa.
So you get wind in the air that there is something.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for us, we've never had very, very, very good relations with our neighbors as we would like to. It's the usual big country, small country syndrome. Pakistan was a special case, so we can disregard that. But all our other countries have thought to have alliances with China.
Mm-hmm.
Bangladesh bought more weapons from China than from us.
Than from us. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
They have been very keen. That is during Awami League's time. I'm not even talking about BNP era.
BNP. Yeah.
It is during her time that we did that.
True.
Okay. So our ability to influence our neighbors has been limited. We've always been sort of trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But they always throw the China card at us. Nepal, Sri Lanka, Maldives. It's
all
a
of
given.
them.
It's a given.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's the US card. Okay. And notice that all the Islamic leaders, the party, are back in favor. Jamaat Islami's ban has been lifted. The Islamic Chhatir Shabir ban has been lifted. There was somebody else who was released from one of these outfits, pro-Al-Qaeda outfits recently. I forget his name. So there is a move that way.
Yeah.
Is it that, if you go back into history, to 1946, Direct Action Day, H.S. Suravardi organized it. And that became the start point of having a division, with Bengal also divided. At one point, Sheikh Mujib was a protege of Suravardi.
Yeah.
His party was called the Awami Muslim League. He dropped Muslim later.
Yeah.
So Islam does sit easily there.
Very true.
And what has been happening now, despite denials by Bangladesh, and of course denials by people who don't really should be there, like the Deutsche Welle and other people saying there's nothing, these chaps are just exaggerating, etc., etc. And you had that CNN correspondent going to the waters and saying, India has released that water, that's why these floods have come here.
True.
We've been showing photographs that this is a photograph of the other dam in some part of India. They've used that as a. So there is a big game on.
So interestingly, Mahfouz Anam, who's the editor of Daily Star, in one of his articles, he asks India to stop looking at Bangladesh through a prism of religion and instead look at them through a prism of democracy. So what you're saying, please go ahead, sir.
No, you tell me, finish.
No. So, I'm very interested as to why and what prompted him to make such a specific statement.
No, I suppose they want to cover up for what they've been doing and say that democracy will come to them, and that democracy will be not certainly in our Awami League as far as I can see now, unless there is a radical change. And we should wait for that democracy to come when it comes.
Right.
Not be in a hurry to say we are pals. We'll wait and see how democratic you are.
Yeah.
And whether it is an Islamic republic or not, that also we want to know.
Right.
And if your Hindu population is going down at the rate it has been going down, then there is no religion but one.
Absolutely.
So we will look at it as we look at Pakistan, as we look at Afghanistan, as we look at Iran. They're all Islamic republics.
Yeah.
And Bangladesh may or may not re-Christian itself as Islamic Republic, but I see trends going that way. And if there is trouble in Bangladesh of this kind, then it bounces off in the neighborhood. Yeah, we have problems as it is in Myanmar. Myanmar has its own problems.
Correct.
And the Rohingya problem, the Mizo-Chin problem, it can surface again.
Yes, yes.
And who knows? You have our friend Pakistan who want to be. That's the only thing they can offer is more terrorism to the rest of the region. Nothing else.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We will have to. It's a 4,000-kilometer border, the biggest, the longest border, longer than the one with China. We don't realize it that it is so big and so difficult.
True, sir.
To man and to have a security cordon around it.
Yeah.
It's a humongous task. But there is no shortcut to it. We have to learn to avoid shortcuts. It's a hard grind ahead.
It is. It is. In fact, there are a number of articles which have said that after Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh actually needs a foreign policy reset. And, while the interim government is supposed to have, taken off to a promising start with Mohammad Yunus, but how does Bangladesh tackle entrenched interests is what, a lot of people are very curious. And this is what I think the world is also watching to see how they will manage.
Who's entrenched interests?
Entrenched interests of the neighborhood and very specifically the Chinese and the Americans. That's what the article also says, So Again, they also talk about relationship with, Pakistan, the Bangladesh-Pakistan relationship going back historically. So all of this put together.
There would be elements in the Bangladesh establishment who feel that they should go back to a relationship with Pakistan. After all, it took only 2.5 to 3 years to assassinate Sheikh Mujib.
Yes.
By an army. It was an army officer's assassination done by them. True. So there was a feeling perhaps that from then on that we should have closer relations with Bangladesh, with Pakistan. And we had General Zia Rahman, we had General Irshad, we had BNP for a number of years. It was in 1996 that first time Awami over, 20 years after the assassination. And that was only for 5 years. Then we had BNP again till 2009. Yes. And since then we've had this government. So the base is there for a closer relationship. And religion could be a factor. I will take religion into account. Yeah. If you're treating your minorities the way you shouldn't be, then I will take that into account. Absolutely, sir. But the main thing in the Bay of Bengal is China versus US. Sight set on Taiwan. This is a big power game. Both want to control the seas here in the Bay because that's the only place the Americans don't have a presence. Yes. For the Arabian Sea. The Chinese, on the other hand, have Djibouti and Gwadar. Yes. They have something in Chokpyu in Myanmar. Bangladesh, the Americans have nothing. The Yogyakarta is far away. That's more for the Air Force than for anything else. So, so they are looking for something here as an insurance or as an added pressure point for China. And although the Chinese couldn't get that Sonadia base, which they wanted. Well, I forget the 2011 or 9, I'm not sure when, or 14, but they didn't get it. So now they will push. There will be two lobbies working in Bangladesh, China versus US. For those bases. I don't think we should get into the race for bases. We should merely strengthen our Andaman and Nicobar bases and our littoral bases. That's enough for us.
Absolutely.
I mean, block in the middle of the bay. We don't need it. Our needs are not like that. We're not playing any big power game.
Correct.
So if they want to have a base, we can't prevent it. And they will get it. How much leeway India gets in the months, years ahead in Bangladesh will depend on how much control US or China are able to exercise or not exercise. And
so could you elaborate on that point, sir? When you say how much leeway India gets? Yeah.
Because if we want to play a role in Bangladesh and others are opposed to it and they have the ability to stop it, then we don't have a chance. The anti-Hindu, anti-India lobby is pretty active in Bangladesh today.
Yeah, it is.
It could carry on. And there could be a spin-off that then it's between themselves, China or US. That's how I look at it. And if either of them gets supremacy within quotes in Bangladesh, then they're not going to let us have a role, except under supervision, as it were.
Yes.
Do as I say.
Yeah.
Will we do that? Should we do that? And these are things that, these are long-term things, and I suppose our strategic experts will sit down and think about all this. It's too early to say how it will fan out, whether they succeed at all or not.
Yeah.
And how does it affect, what is our USP to the rest of the world in this region? Do we have something that they need from us?
Yeah.
Can we compete with them in the markets?
Yes.
I mean, all this is happening at a time when politically the world seems to be in disarray.
Yeah.
And their economies are also stumbling, while ours is the one that is going up.
Yes.
So shouldn't they be coming to us? Kyao, hame bachao? Sort of.
Yeah. But in fact, it's interesting, not just shouldn't they be coming to us, it's also a question for us as a country to say, how do we get them here,
Yeah. That is actually the thing. How do you entice them or encourage them to come and work, join in? But Apple is doing something, but there has to be something more than that. There should be something more, something bigger and better. We need markets, we need resources.
Yes.
But their fear is that a country of our size, which is now thinking of becoming the third largest economy by 2027, not even 2029.
Yeah.
When it's the IMF which is saying this. So if we are getting there in 2027, in becoming a major economic power, not per capita, but as otherwise.
Yeah.
A military power, nuclear arms, Asian, and along with the other Asian.
Yes.
Where does it leave us, meaning the West?
Correct. Very true.
So, have we thought that out? Have they worked out what they want to do?
Yeah.
They're not going to make the mistake they made with China.
Hmm.
allowed it to grow, they helped it to grow, that they would become, the narrative was they would become democratic and free and they are rich.
Yes. Yes.
They just took the money, they took the problem, they took the technology and said, get lost.
Yep.
I'm not changing.
I know.
And also, we have that feeling that the Chinese are dying to be democratic. Oh, they want to be free.
They're not.
No, I don't think so. I think they're all right. They don't think the way the Westerners think. They're not. They're used to strong central regimes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
This is yet another one.
This also brings me to another observation, which a lot of Indian geostrategic analysts or observers have, that the West truly doesn't understand the Asian mindset. Or let me put it this way: the East Asian mindset. Mm-hmm. Okay. Since we're talking about South Asia and China, and hence, because they don't understand the mindset, they end up making assumptions based on their own experiences, which are very, very different as opposed to the experiences we have had as colonies, as countries that have been independent, quote unquote, in the last 70 to 100 years. So which brings me to, again, coming back to Bangladesh, is the US looking at this particular crisis, this particular situation the right way, or do you think they're going to end up making some very familiar mistakes?
Actually, if you look at the history of American attempts in the last 70 years, where have they succeeded? Where have they succeeded?
Yeah.
Despite all the arms they threw and all the American casualties they've had, the situation has just got worse.
Correct.
Okay? Starting with Vietnam.
Yes.
And then ending with Afghanistan when they left that country in the darkness of the night.
Absolutely.
Now, how does a superpower explain that?
True.
Okay?
True.
So I'm not sure whether this is going to be a success or not. But the problem is that either way, it's a problem for us. If they leave Bangladesh, they'll be left in other countries, then what does it matter? How work for us?
Yes.
So Ukraine has not been a success.
No, not at all.
All over the Middle East, they've been active. They tried to get rid of Bashar Assad. They couldn't succeed. They put in this ISIS force. Didn't succeed. Iraq became a Shia colony instead of being an American colony.
Correct.
So, and Libya was left in a shambles when they were not actually interested in anything else except he wanted to be a leader of the African Union or whatever.
I know.
And he had said, I don't want the bomb. And I said, okay, buddy, you don't want the bomb, we'll come and get you.
True. Very true, sir.
So, successes are, successes cannot be governed through Pentagon and kinetic forces.
Yes.
It has to be a long-drawn mindset.
Yeah.
The Brits handled their colonies with the locals. They used the local because they didn't have the manpower to control that colony with their own forces. They didn't have the population to control the empire. So
yes.
They used the local.
I know.
Have the Americans ever got this kind of a situation where the local has been siding with them sincerely, purposely for years? No.
Not at all. Not at all.
How will they succeed?
True. I mean, that's a question they need to answer.
Yeah, they have to tell us, buddy, how are you
Yeah.
going to do it?
Yeah. How are they going to succeed? How are they going to plan this out?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. So, constitutionally, Bangladesh is supposed to hold elections, in the next, in the first 90 days of, this particular situation they face right now. Till those elections take place, India will have to navigate a lot of headwinds. And you said that we need to wait and watch and see how which way things flow. But anything that we as a country, and I'm not just talking from a government angle, because there is a lot of people to people movement between Bangladesh and India, and that's been the bedrock of trade for us. What do you think should be some of the immediate things we can do as a country? So, I mean, government to government is a different thing, but is there anything we should be doing at all?
I think for the time being, we should just keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mystery in being quiet. Okay.
True.
But if we say, ye le lo, wo kar lo, come, we will give you this. No, we haven't done anything to harm you, so we are the good guy. No, we're not saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Your protests, your hartals, your problem, you handle it.
Yes.
If you want me, I'll come and help. I'm not going to step in and then be the bad boy and have to be thrown out. No, I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You get settled first. It's like walking into a room which is in disarray, and you don't want to help the owners to do it. He should do it himself, and I'll come and then sit down and chat with you and do something more to help you. But not like this. I don't think there is. Where is the center of power?
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Is it still the army? Is it the administrator, the advisor, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah.
No.
Very true.
So why should we venture into this? I would not recommend any hurry to make up with them.
Mm.
The Chinese were upset when she said that she'd give the Tista deal to us.
Yes.
And
they were very upset.
And they built that bridge and then it was agreed that the Indian trains would use that bridge to go from northeast to the
Yes.
Chinese were livid.
Yes.
And they didn't get that port except the one they've got now. So let's see what cards the Chinese are also going to play.
True.
They've come out with one statement recently, I think 3 or 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember whether it was negative or positive. I think it wasn't a too happy a statement about what has happened there.
Okay.
I mean, they weren't exulting, saying, good shot, good, well done, nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, they were upset about, the management of Mongla Port and, you rightly said, how, Sheikh Hasina during her visit, actually, Indian companies have trumped over Chinese companies in some of the major projects. And, that has made them very, very unhappy. Very, very unhappy. And like you rightly said, she asked for 5 billion and came away with
147.
147. Yeah, I mean, which is literally pennies,
Yeah.
When you look at
I think it's probably 1 billion yuan or something.
Yeah. So This is again. My take is they would be doing a wait and watch scenario with Bangladesh, and then figure out how they need to, take things ahead. So
Yeah, it's only what, 17 days since they took over?
yeah.
That's a
It's
40
about
plus.
2 weeks now. Yeah.
It's a wink, and let them settle down. Let's see who are their advisors, who are the people they're going to deal with. I'm
Yeah.
sure there will be many claimants to to being in the driving seat, want to be in the power centers
Yeah.
of the new arrangement. So अभी तो खेल बाकी है.
I know. बहुत बाकी है सर. बहुत बाकी है. I know. It is going to be a long wait and watch for everyone. So yes.
My only worry is that it shouldn't spread to us.
What makes you say that, and how do you think it can spread to us?
Because there are borders that are unmanageable.
Yes.
And you can have refugees, and you can have refugees. I mean, the other day I saw a clip where the Bangladeshis were protesting that the Indians are not giving them visas. They'd stopped the visa thing, which rightly so. So, will that kind of thing happen? Will somebody play up the Manipur, Chin, Myanmar issue? Okay.
Yeah.
Now this person, Paresh Barua, is lurking around on the Indo-Myanmar China border. It's somewhere there.
Yes.
Will he be propped up? Is there a possibility of that happening? I have no answer because I don't know. I'm not dealing with these things anymore. I only go by what I see in the newspapers and come to some sort of conclusions. So we don't know how it will play out for us also.
Yes.
I mean, if there's fire in your backyard, you will get some smoke.
Absolutely. I mean, not just the smoke, you will feel the heat in different ways, So, very true.
Do we then have any plans to realign our relationship with the United States and the West? What happens to our relationship with Russia?
Yes.
They've never let us down, ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we remember the Seventh Fleet.
True. Very true, sir.
And we remember sanctions. We were sanctions for 19 years.
Yeah. I mean, these things, our country will not forget.
Yeah. And I think we did it right when we decided to take oil from Russia. When a country can't make a domestic law and say, it's going to apply to the rest of the world.
Yes.
It's the other way around. An international law applies to your domestic thing.
Applies to, yeah.
That has to change. The Americans must understand that their ability, this is still the strongest force, 800 bases, the world divided into military commands. Okay. Military and naval commands. But you can't win anywhere. Why?
Yeah.
Please tell us why this is happening. Are you wrong or we are wrong?
Very true, sir.
So it's still the richest country. It's still the best place to go to for education, I believe. Many of us go there. Many of our kids study there. Then there is a report I saw this morning saying how California is going bust, the whole state.
Yes,
People
it is.
Selling out. Property is expensive. Living is expensive. They're going to Texas, which has no tax.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. So they have problems. They have problems, domestic problems, and their election campaign, current election campaign is, if I may say, interesting.
Yes.
So,
uniquely interesting, I will say.
Yes. So that's where we are today. No real answers, but a lot of problems.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's been such an interesting discovery of different issues.
Thank you.
And your opinions about some of these problems and challenges that the world is facing. I mean, not just India, but other countries. I think anybody who would listen to you speak would actually have a lot of food for thought. And I do wish that students of international relations, geopolitics, and geostrategy sort of take this as part of their learning itself, and practitioners listen to more of the questions that you have thrown up, because that will actually help countries think long term, and it would definitely help us think long term. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you with us.
Next time you have some show, I'll make it a point to come to CNSS.
It would be our honor and pleasure. Like I've said, would love to host you at CNSS, and that'll be my fangirl moment. Happening in person.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's been nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Bye-bye.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.